because I've been more vocal about it. I was more private before, but I'm a lot more vocal now. And yeah, I've lost a ton of friends, but I've gained a lot more in the process because if they can't respect your beliefs and who you are, then they never were your friends.
Okay, yung paputol-putol, hindi naman kailangan all forever.
Don't have to be what anybody wants you to be. You shouldn't be afraid to be
pwede mo nang
who you
patayin,
want to
tapos
be.
pipindutin mo sa
Alright.
taas. Tingnan mo, maanda rin sa gitna.
Oo.
Yan o, naka-ano na sila, naka-fence. Lagay ko, hindi sila nagpapapasok na lalapit sa White House eh.
Ah, hindi na.
Ito yung executive building. Ayan, naka-boarding na siya. Boarded na. Kita mo yun, binoboard. Binoboard sila. Talaga sarado sila rito. Ayan yung H Street. Nasaan yung H Street? Patayin mo na.
Predicted Trump's 2016 win are saying about 2020. In this video, we'll take a look at the final forecast among those who called 2016 right and how they're all saying the same thing. Let's just say it ain't good news for Sleepy Joe. You're not going to want to miss this. Welcome everyone, Dr. Steve here with you, ready to bring you our latest episode celebrating the inevitable collapse of left-wing globalism and the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. We'd love to have you as a regular part of this channel where each and every day we focus on optimism and encouragement in the midst of all the defeatist fake news spewed out by the mainstream media. Now, before we get into it, make sure to click on that link below. Head on over to my special website for our good friends over at My Patriot Food Supplies. So with the whole insane pandemic, we cannot wait for an emergency to happen before we respond to one, and no one makes preparing for an emergency more ridiculously easy and affordable than My Patriot Supply. Gang, they're simply the best. Their food kits last up to 25 years in storage. They include breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, and best of all, they got a guaranteed policy that'll absolutely knock your socks off. And if you act now, and if you act today, you can save $100 off a full 4-week emergency food supply when you click on that link below to my special website. You heard that right, 100 smackers off. So don't wait, I've got My Food Supply. Make sure you get yours. Click on that link below or go to preparewithsteve.com and save $100 off your very own 4-week emergency food supply. Predicted rightly 25 allowed 27 presidential elections. So that's going all the way back to 1912.
Para wag silang galawin.
It's the algorithm put together by the Stony Brook University professor Helmut Norpohl. And that makes the model unique in that it uses no opinion polls. Opinion polls are completely obsolete when it comes to the predictions of the primary model. Instead, the primary model uses data from the primaries, which date back to 1912. That's the first time a presidential candidate had to win the primaries in order to run for the general election. And in each case, the statistical algorithm of the primary model discovered that the candidate who was stronger in the primaries, the candidate who won the highest percentage of votes in the primaries, always went on to win the general election. Indeed, when so many were predicting a Romney landslide in the 2012 election, Nora Polk had predicted since January of that year, several months before the election, that Obama would win by several percentage points. Same with 2016. The primary model gave President Trump an 87% chance of beating Hillary Clinton in that general election. And those results, if I recall, were published in March of 2016. So very, very early on. So in this sense, the primaries function very much like the general election in microcosm. The winner with the highest percentage of the vote in the primaries always goes on to win.
Ayun, Black Lives Matter pala.
So what that means then is Norpoll's model is the only one that has for more than 100 years selected the winner of virtually all presidential campaigns of the 25 of the last 27 elections. I'm excited to announce that Norpoll's model gives President Trump a 91% chance of winning re-election. And the model is actually predicting a win with over 360 electoral votes. It'll be an absolute blowout. Now, of course, again, this is all predicated that we go out to vote. So make sure you do that tomorrow. But having said that, no incumbent votes, actual elections, actual winners, not opinion polls. And the results could not possibly be more discrepant from the opinion polls. They're being peddled by the mainstream Marxist media. So that's our first forecast. Not a bad one to start off with, huh? It's the single most accurate forecaster on record is giving President Trump a 91%
fully boarded talaga lahat.
Let's move on to the second model here, and that's the Democracy Institute prediction. Now, the Democracy Institute is a Washington, D.C. and London-based think tank that rightly predicted not only Trump victory in 2016, but also Brexit in Britain. They're forecasting a Trump electoral landslide tomorrow. Their final poll shows President Trump leading in the Electoral College by a margin of 326 to 212. Significantly against Trump in 2016. All right, moving to our third and final forecast, and that is coming, of course, from the great group Trafalgar Group. Now, the Trafalgar Group specializes in polling Rust Belt states like Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Minnesota. They were right in terms of predicting that Trump would win the Rust Belt in 2016. That's indeed how Trafalgar got on the polling map as it moved towards Trump, with late breakers in the Rust Belt states, as well as in North Carolina and Arizona. So he's noting that these voters don't want a new round of shutdowns, which they know the Democrats and Biden are promising. They have had it with the shutdowns, and so they're going to
check your phone. It's overwhelming. We're going to have the very latest news throughout the hour tonight. We want to begin differently. We want to begin this show with a single image. Now, the image doesn't tell you who's going to win or lose. If it did, it means nothing to our leaders now. You can be certain of that because when large numbers of people in Butler started killing themselves with narcotics, no one in Washington or New York or Los Angeles said a word about it. And so it continued. There have now been so many opioid deaths in Butler that a few years ago residents built an overdose memorial in the middle of town. MSNBC didn't cover that. So given all of that, it was interesting how the people around Butler feel about Donald Trump. Here are the pictures of the president's rally there on Saturday night. Tens of thousands of people came. So many people that the crowd obscured the horizon. Looked like it was full of hope. When was the last time a political speech drew that many people? Well, the media didn't ask. Instead, they attacked the rally as a super spreader event. Trump endangers thousands in Pennsylvania. Not mentioned keeping on social media, belittled by their kids' teachers, shunned by decent society. Only losers and freaks support Donald Trump. People in Butler knew all of that. But on Saturday, they went to the Donald Trump rally. Why exactly did they do that? We should be pondering that question deeply as we watch tomorrow's returns and as we live through the aftermath.
Downing
exactly
Street,
who
ito
Trump
yung
is,
Black
they
Lives
love him
Matter na ano,
anyway.
sign nandiyan.
They love Donald Trump because no one else loves them. The
Ayun.
country they built, the country their ancestors fought for over hundreds of years, has left them to
Dapat
die in their
parada tayo.
unfashionable little town,
Kamarada.
mocked and despised by the sneering half-wits with finance degrees but no actual skills who seem to run everything all of a sudden. Simple as that.